You're listening to iCannabisRadio.com.
All right, and you are listening to In the Lab with Genifer, and I am all by my lonesome here today. Woohoo! Oops, and I have my computer on. This is the first show I've really actually done by myself, and I'm kind of scared, but that's okay. Last week, we had a great show. I did take some things personal, which was silly, but the good news is we'll be doing that again, and if you missed the show, you should really check it out. It talked about Grow Life, which is a publicly traded company that you can buy stocks in. And the reason we had it is because so many people want to get involved with this industry in one way or another. And a good way to get involved if you aren't in a legal state is to buy stock. So we are going to have Alan Brockstein on next Monday to go into more details about different marijuana stocks you can buy and kind of the gen it down how to buy stocks a little class, because I am definitely not a stock person, and I could use some professional knowledge on it, and Alan Brockstein can give that to us, so we'll be talking to him next week. What I kind of wanted to talk about for a little bit, and then we're going to call Steve Cottrell with AZ MedTest. Steve opened up his lab in Arizona about a year after I opened Can Labs here. And it turns out that Steve's wife and I went to high school together. And actually, Steve grew up in Colorado. So we have a lot of similar things that have happened to us in the cannabis industry, and kind of wanted to share some of that. Plus, I'd like to know, what's going on in Arizona for anyone who's listening in Arizona. Also, if you have any questions, you're always welcome to go to iCannabisRadio.com, and there is a little IM chat box that you can ask questions and everything like that on there. So first, I'd like to talk about if you've been listening to iCannabis Radio, I'm sure you've heard some of the other shows talk about the raids that we had in Colorado last week. And I'm not going to go into too many details on that. One, because I don't know a lot of them, and two, you can find those that information on other shows. But what I wanted to talk about is how interesting I find it that everybody right off the bat is blaming the feds. They don't even know what's happened, and it's automatically the feds are out to get us, and they're out to shut us down. And, I just don't feel that way. I never have. They did send out a memo stating that they're going to leave states alone that are following state laws. Imagine that, following the law, and you won't get arrested. So it turns out that that one of the biggest busts that we had here in Colorado actually leads back to a cartel. And I don't know about you, but I do not want cartels. If I wanted a cartel, then why even make things legal? Let's just keep them underground with the cartels. I am a big stickler for following state laws. I think we have the most amazing opportunity, and for people to do shady stuff now and sell, and carry marijuana outside of Colorado to other states, I think should go to jail. Sorry. Actually, no, I'm not sorry. I think it's ridiculous that we do have this opportunity and people are still greedy and are going to ruin it for everyone. So, it's not that hard to follow state laws. It really isn't. So I posted something on my Facebook that talked about that. Basically, I said, let's see. I said, I love that everyone blames the feds, but not all the people breaking the laws. Humor. And it's very interesting, most people in the industry like that and gave a ton of comments about that. Of course, none of us in this industry want anyone to get arrested that's following the laws. Of course we don't. But, if you are breaking the laws, you deserve to go to jail, just like with anything else. And for some reason, there are some people in this industry that thinks, oh, well, now that it's legal, everything goes. And that's just not how it goes. And in fact, one of the guys that was linked to this, they call Tony Montana because he's been in so much trouble over the years and lives in Miami. And it's just crazy that people think that that's okay. Another thing is that if the state is calling for the feds to help out, it's probably because it expands further out than Colorado, like this did. They traced all the way back to Miami and Cuba, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but they needed the feds' help. The Marijuana Enforcement Division can't do everything. And I am thankful that we have a regulating body. I am thankful that they are doing this and they are looking out for all of us, because in the end, these people that violate state laws bring danger to everybody around them. So I kind of just wanted to, I guess, relieve myself of that. But there's one individual that continues to trash me on Facebook because I support the feds. I never said I support the feds, but I definitely don't support people that break laws. Sorry, I don't. And so this person tells me that I don't deserve to be in this industry because I support the feds, which is ludicrous. And then he accused me of not being an activist. And, if being an activist just means standing on a corner with a sign, then yeah, I'm not an activist. You know what? I do more than that. I go to the Capitol. I talk to legislatures. I've been to Washington, D.C. So for anyone to tell me that I haven't been fighting for this industry is absolutely ludicrous. I did a lot for the 64 campaign. And I don't know why I got so upset about this, because the person that I'm speaking of really has alienated himself from the entire industry. Started off calling himself a lobbyist, and he wasn't lobbying. In fact, people didn't want to talk to him. So people never hired him as a lobbyist. Then he did get on with, I won't say which big lobby firm, but they just let him go. Oh, I mean, he resigned, which means they were going to let him go. So my suggestion to you is get a job. Get a job. Stop pretending that you're doing all this for the cannabis industry, because a lot of the time you're hurting the cannabis industry. I've heard legislatures complain about you. I've heard representatives complain about you. I've heard attorneys complain about you. And I've heard people inside the industry complain about you. And unfortunately, you think you're doing more good, but you're not. You're actually doing more damage to the industry. So really, truly, if you're an activist and you want the best for the industry, then shut up and get a job. All right, enough said on that. Anyway, a lot has been going on. I have to say I had an exciting meeting with my 420 tours. They're actually going to have a great... Listen up, Chris and Sam. They're going to have an amazing party January 1st to celebrate rec. This isn't about medicine. This is strictly where we can go have a private party and celebrate cannabis as just smoking it and having a good time. It will be January 1st at City Hall. I'll have more information about it, but if you do want to get involved and you do want to be one of the recreational dispensaries that they get a shuttle to and some other stuff, please go to my420tours.com, or you can reach out to me and I'd be happy to put you in touch with them. But it's going to be amazing. Again, January 1st from about noon to 6. They need all kinds of things. They're going to have video games. They're going to have photo booths. They're going to have bands. It's going to be a good time. So make sure you guys are down for that. Let's see. Then tonight there's a meeting at the City and County of Denver to talk about the smell ordinance that they were trying to push. They lost, and you can smoke marijuana on your private property. Thank God. I can't imagine that. I mean, where do they expect you to go? They don't want private clubs. They don't want bars. They don't want, you to have parties. So where do you go smoke? Well, you should be able to smoke on your private property. You can smoke cigarettes. You can drink alcohol. You should be able to partake in cannabis if you want to. So that's at the City and County of Denver. Starts at 5:30. I'm going to try to make it down there. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a break real quick, and we'll be back with Steve Cottrell from AZ MedTest. Thanks.
Cannapunch is a delicious and effective medical marijuana beverage proudly made right here in Colorado. Each bottle is freshly infused with 100% pure flower extract from the highest grade marijuana plants available today. Using proprietary extraction methods, every bottle of Cannapunch is consistently and reliably infused with an exact milligram dosage that you can count on to relieve your symptoms each and every time. Cannapunch is delicious. There's never any medicine-y taste. We use only 100% cannabis flowers. No trim or byproducts are ever used in Cannapunch. It does not require refrigeration and comes in convenient, resealable multi-dose bottles from 60 milligrams to 200 milligrams. We have drinks with dosage that works best for you. Cannapunch is available in a variety of delicious flavors like black cherry, watermelon, pineapple mango, and blue raspberry. And we now have strain-specific beverages available just for you. Cannapunch is delicious, convenient, consistent, and effective. Give it a try and experience the Cannapunch difference.
Call Canisher at 1-800-420-5757 for all your insurance needs. Canisher understands the risks you face each day, and we are there to protect your business and your investment. Since 2010, Canisher has been serving the cannabis industry nationwide. Call Canisher at 1-800-420-5757 or visit us on the web at canisher.com to learn more about our insurance and risk management services. Proud member of the NCIA.
Green Faith Ministry is for spiritual guidance, MMJ information, and networking combined with compassionate care on the way to enlightenment with all Green Faith sacraments. Green Faith provides charity assistance, including medical and food throughout the year. Contact them at greenfaithministry.com.
All right. And we're back, and we're going to give Steve a call. I could use a little cannabis to lower my heart rate right now, huh? No answer? What's going on, Cottrell? There we go.
Hello.
Hi, Steve. It's Jen. We're live on the air with In the Lab with Genifer. How are you?
Doing well.
Good.
How is everyone today?
Well, everyone is me, and I hope you didn't listen to the first 15 minutes because I think I just let a big wrath out on somebody, but that's all right.
It happens.
It does. So anyway, I kind of said before I got you on the phone that, we kind of you opened your lab about, 9 months to a year after I did, and that we have a lot of similarities, and that, of course, I went to high school with your lovely wife, Holly, but I kind of am leaving it up to you to kind of discuss how you got into cannabis, your personal story with it, and then we'll kind of talk about AZ MedTest and everything like that.
Great. Well, so AZ Med Testing is a testing laboratory in Arizona, and we've been open since 2011. And, we saw a need for patients here to be able to test and give some, accurate results that more or less give the patient a better idea and understanding for what it is that they're working with as a medicine. So we have been doing that since 2011, and I got into this field because my family has owned laboratories my whole life through Colorado and other states, and I had a son pass away 12 years ago from cancer, and I was reading a story about a child out of Northern California who had the exact same cancer as my son Kendall, and she is using cannabis. 12 years ago when Kendall died, I didn't know anything about the medicine capabilities of cannabis. And the little girl today is still kicking butt and doing great. She's not beat the cancer, but her outcome is far better than that of my son's was so far. And they attribute a lot of that to the medicine cannabis.
Now, what kind of cancer did Kendall have?
Kendall had lymphoblastic Burkitt's leukemia. It's a very aggressive form of leukemia. From the day we found out that Kendall had this terrible disease to the day that Kendall passed was 60 days.
Oh my God!
And
really?
So it was very, very trying and very, very aggressive, very fast, and I would say. Fortunately, Kendall never knew it hit him, so he didn't, as well as us, because none of us had to deal with the suffering of chemo quite
Sure.
like many other parents do, like Michaela in Northern California is continuing to do daily, monthly, and she has been for a long time dealing with this terrible disease.
Okay, and then the child that you spoke of earlier that has cancer, is that a similar cancer? What kind of cancer?
Yes, it's the same cancer
Same.
as my son had, lymphoblastic Burkitt's leukemia.
Oh my God, okay, and how long on the cannabis treatment?
He's been on it for, I think, more than a year now.
Oh,
And
wow.
it has been yeah, it's pretty awesome stuff. So she has been having great successes, and I think, as with any medicine, she has her moments, but everything that I'm seeing and reading about her treatment and how she's doing, and the photos that I see of her, she's doing well, and she is, cancer is definitely fearing her.
That is fantastic. Wow. It's just wonderful to hear, and I'm just so sorry that you didn't have it for your boy, but at least that you're working so hard now to make it safe for other people's relatives. So that's awesome, because I know that before, people taking cannabis, they didn't have the luxury of getting it tested to make sure it was safe, and of course you would never give your child medicine if it wasn't safe, or if you knew it wasn't safe. Let's just say that, right?
Absolutely. That's a very important part, especially when we're dealing with cancer, because, the immune system gets compromised so quickly with with the medicines that they give them. So ensuring that there's no pesticides and molds in the medicine is crucial, because there's certain molds that can cause such a tremendous effect to a compromised immune system and literally just kill the person itself because of the compromised immune system. So we need to be very cognitive and very aware of exactly what is going on and what we're putting in our body with this medicine. Sadly, we're not able to see how growers grow. We don't know if that person walked around the plant with a can of Raid,
Yeah.
or if they were using, swamp coolers in their grow versus air conditioning, which just raises the humidity levels through the roof and destroys the plants because of the molds. We see a lot of that here in Arizona. There's a couple dispensary groups that have built grows with swamp coolers.
Really?
And they are
Clearly they didn't get anybody consulting for them.
I'm sorry?
Well, I just preach the good word of consulting. Like in marijuana, you definitely need a consultant, and clearly they didn't get one.
No, well, they got a consultant out of Colorado, actually. However,
Did they really?
the consultant told they needed air conditioning, and because they knew better, they got swamp coolers.
Oh, that's a bummer.
the thing I'm realizing is that everybody has the best grower.
Nuh-uh.
No, it's seriously.
No. We have the best growers.
Yes. AZ Med Testing does have a shirt now that says, I have the best grower.
No. Can Labs does. I actually was sharing that. I was joking with some people, and I was saying, yeah, we need to get shirts made up of that. And they're like, oh my God, I have to have one. So we really should do that because it's
I've already done it.
hilarious. Have you really?
Yeah, I'm emailing it to you right now.
I love it. I'll try to put it on the air right now. That's hilarious. Oh my God, I love it. So what I haven't told people is that our story about how we originally connected. Do you want to talk about that?
Well, I have known, yes, absolutely. So I've known of the legend of Jennifer Murray now for several years and living here in Arizona because she, lived here, and a lot of my friends grew up with her in school. So from time to time, she would come through our house and in town, and got an opportunity to meet her a couple times. At this time, Jennifer was not in the cannabis industry, and neither was I. So getting a phone call that we wanted to have a conversation with a cannabis laboratory out of Colorado 3 years back.
Oh.
And so my partners and I sat down on this conference call, and my one partner pulled up a picture of Miss Jennifer Murray, and it was like, oh my gosh, I know this woman. So I was able to, I was definitely had my A game going. So I was asking her questions during our conversation that definitely made her freak out a little bit.
Yeah, I'm like, who is this guy? He's stalking me.
Right. So that was pretty fun. We have been, and ever since then, Jennifer and I have stayed in a great contact with each other, and we've had a lot of fun, collaborating as laboratories, making sure that each other is, doing everything we can to help support patient quality and patient accuracy of the medicine that they're getting tested, so that the customer has the most confidence in our laboratories collectively together, Can Labs and AZ Med Testing.
Right, and it's very interesting because since that day, I was hesitant because I wanted to go to Arizona. It's the first state I wanted to go to because my dad lives there, and who doesn't want to go to visit Snotsdale, Arizona? But I really got to know Steve, and we were close, and there was no information back then. There was nobody to call, and if there was somebody to call, they didn't want to talk to you. They wouldn't tell you, and it was really lonely. And I had some problems with my chemist at that time, also with my business partner. I mean, it was tough all around, and Steve was like my rock. I would call him and I would cry and talk about, why people don't want to test and, this and that. And he was always like my little cheerleader. And now, year later, it's the same thing. It's like history repeats itself. He's going through all the same cycles in my business that I went through, like identical. And I just want to do whatever I can so he doesn't have to go through some of these things, because it's a shame. And it's a shame that we have so much more information that we did 3.5 years ago, that there's no reason that it should continue, and that people should be confused on testing and why are prices the way they are? Why, do results get reported in certain ways? Who do you believe and who don't you believe? And, what questions do you need to ask a laboratory so, you can tell if they are a good laboratory or not, because the bottom line is nobody is certified, okay? And I'd like to make a point of this because there was a message regarding testing out on one of the message boards, and it said something like, make sure you get an accredited lab. And there aren't any. There are some that are ISO certified, but you need to understand the difference. ISO certification is basically paperwork and processes. It has nothing to do with the science. You could feasibly do wrong science but still be ISO certified. So I want people to understand the difference. Can Labs will hope to be one of the first state certified labs. But I just wanted to make that clear. Like, there aren't any, let's say, accredited labs. Yes, there are ISO certified labs, and it's not, ISO certification isn't bad. It's awesome. I'm going to get ISO certified. I'm sure Steve is. But the bottom line is, it still does not tell you if it's accurate testing. You need to be certified or laboratory certified from another body. Well, let's talk about that. Are there any other science bodies you could get certified with now, since it's illegal federally?
There is the ACCL, which is a group out of California that I believe both of us have been speaking with.
We're members.
It's a cannabis group. And they basically do, it's the Association of Commercial Cannabis Laboratories. And so I believe we're both part of that, which is
But they don't certify. They can do ring tests and stuff like that, which you and I can't participate with. What they would do is ring tests in California, but obviously you can't mail. But they don't certify your lab. What I'm talking about is literally somebody goes in, validates your method and everything like that. There's like environmental labs have to do. Because those bodies that certify them don't want to touch something federally illegal, right? Like, what is your mom's lab certified? It's FDA?
She's certified by FDA, EPA, and OSHA in the medical and dental industry for testing. So the minute you call in a federal agency to come and certify you, they do not have a problem at all coming into the laboratory. But once they see a federally illegal substance in your laboratory, that day becomes a very bad day for you.
Which happened in Full Spectrum. Yep.
Yes, and I know there was a laboratory in Colorado Springs about 3.5 years ago that decided to become the first FDA certified cannabis laboratory, and called in the FDA, and immediately the Fed was called to join them.
Yep.
And that laboratory, I believe, was shut down.
Actually, he continued to run for a while. He claims that he shut down because he couldn't make it. Because he had a dispensary and an edible company, and that's kind of a conflict of interest, don't you think?
It is. It really is, because you can manipulate your results to say anything that you want, and having a third-party laboratory verification is very important. I know there's a couple dispensaries here in this state that have their own instruments, and they are doing their own testing on their own products. And funny how their products are tested much differently on a different instrumentation that is consistently calibrated and has the quality control systems that we have in place versus theirs, where there are none to speak of.
Right. And honestly, let's just say it. This industry is not far enough along to have inside testing. And I know that there are going to be probably some companies in Colorado that will. Like, if you have a really, really big operation, you should have some inside testing. But guess what? You still have to third-party test. Now, down the line, once you give this industry some years on it, sure, they might have in-house testing, and then they verify that. But right now, when we're very young, you just can't do that. You just can't do that.
No, sadly, the people don't realize that what they're doing is they're putting, it's lab tested, but is it accurately tested? Is it correct? And in most cases, it's not.
Exactly.
that presents a problem for the patient because they think they're getting 100 milligrams or 50 milligrams in the juice, and they're actually getting 75, or they're actually getting 25.
Right.
And I know a little grandma that decides to have a 50 milligram juice, and she knows she can make that juice last 3 times, and if she's getting 100 milligrams in that juice, grandma's not ever going to come back to cannabis again. It's too aggressive of a medication for her. She'll be curled up in a ball on her couch for the next 2 days.
Yep, absolutely.
Looking for pills.
We don't want that to happen to Granny. Okay, we need to take a break. Steve, hang on. We'll be right back.
iVita Wellness is committed to compassionate patient care while providing the highest quality medicine at an affordable price. At iVita Wellness, patients can get top shelf ounces for $150 every day. iVita Wellness also carries pharmaceutical grade pure CO2 oil. iVita Wellness is located in Uptown Denver on 1616 Pearl Street, open 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. You can reach us at 303-952-9150 or our website at www.ivitawellness.com. iVita Wellness is Denver's Compassionate Care Center.
This segment was brought to you by The Farm, a medical marijuana care center located at 2801 Iris Street in Boulder. The Farm carries premium cannabis, edibles, and Hummingbird brand products. Visit our new cannabis lifestyle store for your local artesian glass, vaporizers, and hemp clothing. The Farm has been serving Boulder since 2009. Isn't it time you come and see what we have to offer?
The National Cannabis Industry Association would like to thank its members who represent the leading professional businesses in America's emerging legal cannabis market. NCIA is the only organization that has unified legitimate cannabis business across the nation to fight for real reform in Washington, D.C. For more information or to make your business a member, visit us online at thecannabisindustry.org.
Okay, your shirt, you better not get those. I'm going to be pissed.
We've already got them.
No! We were supposed to do that together, Steve. Oh, my God. These shirts are the best. Oh, my God. I love it. I'm so jealous, Steve. Pooper. Anyway. See, I just, now Steve's going to be mad at me because I didn't get on it. I'm like, yeah, got to get on it. So, okay, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about how the average person has no idea about how testing works. And, let's go through some of that. Like, I had somebody that I won't mention that had, a GC in the back of his car. And he was not a chemist. And most of the time he didn't have a chemist working for him. Didn't have a license, a badge, nothing. And then here's Can Labs. We have a badge. I mean, at least we have, the license we could have. You can come visit our lab. You can talk to our chemist, and yet people still pay for the other. Why does that happen?
It happens because people don't have the education to understand what a quality laboratory is, in my opinion. One of the things that we've done here in Arizona is we require our customers to come to our laboratory at least once and see what it is that we do, see our instrumentation. We're not going to show them how we do it, but they need to see that we're a physical laboratory, that our instruments are not being thrown around in the back of our car and hitting potholes and getting the calibrations knocked out of them. We are a laboratory that is serious about this, and that is what the customer needs to see to, first off, understand it. Here in Arizona, we're going through a very interesting dynamic because another laboratory has opened up, and, well, we're not sure about, he was a caregiver, so being a caregiver, that means he has every right to be a scientist.
I have the best grower.
So, yes, we have that going for us now, and this gentleman has said that his slogan is where all results are over 20%. So everybody, people are going to where the 20% results are, and our patients are sadly uninformed on what medicines are supposed to be. and how 20% is really a very, very difficult plant to grow, one, and 20% is it's not that spectacular of a plant as far as medicating properly as a patient with.
Well,
very difficult.
But here's what I have to question. If I have a dispensary, okay, let's get over the fact that they don't care and they want to lie to their patients, okay? Because, I went through that here in Colorado. Everybody just wants the high number, and whoever will give them the high number they go with. Well, okay, whatever. But if I was a dispensary or a grower, I would want to know why I couldn't get up to 20%. How can I improve my growing skills so I can turn in a test that actually gets 20%, first of all? But second of all, we do need to do a better job of understanding the plant, and that number is just what cannabinoids are in the plant. And ultimately, it's more about the ratios than it is about the potency. I know all of us, because you have the best grower, they tell you, it's 24%. And you smoke it and you're like, okay. I mean, there are so many other factors, terpenes, other waxes and chlorophyll that might affect your body differently. I mean, there's so many things into the plant. Just like wine, right? Wine is out of a scale of 100 of many different things. It's just like marijuana, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of different things that are factors in this flower. The terpenes, like you mentioned, terpenes are becoming the most important feature of the plant. Understanding what the medicine is going to do as far as the way it reacts in your body is so important. And you don't get that from just THC or just CBCs or such CBGs. What we're finding is terpenes are the flavonoids and the flavors of the flower. And like a lot of the different chemicals that we use in our house, how, say, for instance, pine sol leaves us as a soothing, relaxing, calming terpene. Well, that same pine is present in the cannabis plant. So now we're finding that a plant that's high in pinene, which is the same terpene that's in pine sol, we're finding is a more soothing plant. That medicine is going to be more calming. It's not going to be hyperactive. We know something with more limonene in it is going to be a stimulant that makes you excited and makes you clean your house 10 times over. So
really?
These are all things that...
Limonene?
Oh, yeah.
I'm all about it.
Limonene.
No, that's so cool, and that's what you have to tell people. I always tell people there are a couple of those, and I don't know them by name, that are bronchial dilators. So of course, more medicine is going to get to you quicker. So you're going to think that it's stronger. I mean, there's just it just goes on and on. But back to, if I was a grower, I would want to know, and I wouldn't want to grow what I considered, whatever that means, bad product, period. I mean, like we say, we meet these growers and they grow the best stuff, but they want to pay for numbers. That's what I don't get. And like the good growers I know in Colorado, they've always tested. They just want to know where they're at. And I'm sure there's a lot of growers that don't test that are good also, don't get me wrong. But I would just think that it's so meticulous, especially when you're growing on such a large scale, that you would want the more data, or the more data you had, no matter what it was.
I agree wholeheartedly. The problem is people don't understand the testing. And when you have people that just decide to become scientists overnight, that does not help us.
No, I know
that
it doesn't.
Only hurts the industry, and sadly, it makes people lose faith in what it is that we're trying to do.
No, absolutely. And I guess, I've dropped the ball because I should have figured out a better way to educate people. But I mean, to be honest, like part of me after a while was just like, God, it's so exhausting trying to talk to people. And then you're always wrong. It doesn't matter. And even clients give them results. Oh, your instrument's wrong. even though we run, they just don't understand, but we run a check standard. We know if the instrument's running properly. We know, like, these instruments are very expensive. So, and, not just because they're expensive, but, they have all these checks and balances within them. That's what science is. And it's just so disheartening that people just don't. I think a lot of it too is not trusting the lab, and I get it. I mean, if they don't have somebody to say that, what, the lab is good, because that's what we do in the United States. We have the FDA. We have people to tell us it's good, right? So as soon as we can get certified here in Colorado, which I'm so sorry, Steve, that looks like it's going to be a ways for you, but at least you could do some other certifications. But as soon as I get that piece of paper in my hand, I just can't wait, because nobody else is going to tell me that it's wrong. I mean, they might want to, but they're going to have to call the Marijuana Enforcement Division that certifies my lab. But,
Right.
And is that how it is out there too? People just automatically think it's you and you're wrong.
Well, yes, that's exactly what it is. Sadly, we live in a very difficult state. Arizona does not like marijuana. And even though it was a voter-approved initiative, this is a very, very difficult state to get anything done in when it comes to improving the quality for patients. They fight us tooth and nail every way. So being able to add new laws, say mandated testing or quality assurance testing for the patient safety, is definitely going to be a very steep hill to climb. I hated to say that word. But it is definitely a challenging hill to climb.
Right. That's unfortunate. It is, because honestly, if testing wasn't mandated, I would probably not do it, because it's just too hard. I mean, then no one's going to certify you, right? I'd still be where I was at. I wouldn't be certified, and I just don't think I could do it. But a lot of people have been just so amazing to me. Everybody that has stuck by Can Labs, I just appreciate you more than you know. And I'm a very loyal person, and I try to take care of everybody that has taken care of me. But the bottom line is, if people listened, listen to this, Steve. So one of my greatest stories is, and it was on another show. I had him on a show, but he tested 20 at the time, summer 2010. And one came back with 7% CBD, like 7.4 or something, 6% THC. It was a direct 1-to-1. I about fell over. I had felt something, because I was down in the dumps, right? But I had felt something I've never felt before, like, oh my God, this is incredible. We tested it like 5 more times, and then I called him, Jason Cranford, and said his bubblegum kush. Oh my God, I was screaming on the phone. It was hilarious. And now Jason has some of the best CBD genetics out there, like probably in the world. I mean, amazing, right here in Colorado. And if you don't test, you're not going to find any of these other amazing cannabinoids. We just tested Avita. They just had a huge spike at CBG acid, we believe. We can't prove it because we don't have a CBG acid standard, but that's what Heather thinks it is. I mean, and it's a huge peak. So I had to call him and tell him, don't get rid of that strain. Don't get rid of it. And he's like, thank you so much for telling me that. So testing brings so many great things too. I mean, so many great things. It's very exciting. And I just wish that there were more people that believed in it like you and I do. And unfortunately that they need somebody to say that, we're okay. But I get it. I probably would do the same thing. I mean,
Yeah, I do know. It's been very challenging, and it's been a very challenging mix to deal with, and to try and help patients and be beat up because how dare you try and help us has been a very tough thing for I know both of us to have to deal with. So it's you almost want to turn a blind eye sometimes to helping, but you're here for a reason, and keeping that integrity and that truth of what you are doing for the patients, in the end you'll win. So that's all we can do, and continue to push it forward and make sure that we're giving out the most confidently correct results available for the patients and ensuring the accuracy of our instruments.
Yep. And comparing. We won't say more about that, but comparing,
we have
talking.
We have a grower in Flagstaff that brought some medicine into a dispensary and donated it to the dispensary, which is allowed to be done without payment.
Right.
He donated 2.5 pounds of a strain that he thought was called AK-47 because those were the genetics the seeds that he got.
Right.
Well, that dispensary brought me the strain, and it was a 16-to-1 CBD to THC ratio.
16-to-1?
16-to-1.
Oh my God, that is gigantic for you guys.
Yeah, so that plant still exists here in Arizona. However, the medicine still exists. The grower cut the flower down, and because he didn't test it in advance, he didn't know he had the holy grail of medicine.
Oh.
And
yep.
It was very sad to see. I know the dispensary still has it, and they're still selling it to patients as they want CBD medicine, but it's very, very disappointing to know that strain was here, alive and well, and produced so much medicine, and that the gentleman who was growing it killed it. It's heartbreaking to know that.
That, too, happened to me. Colorado Springs, it took me 6 straight months of cold calling on this guy to even let me in his dispensary. And it was a family-owned place, so I didn't blame him. It was him and his wife and his son. And got to know him, and I haven't talked to him in a while, but he's a great guy. And I finally convinced him why he needs to test, and because I don't want anyone to test if they don't feel it's valuable. I don't. And, I just had kind of something like that to one of my clients. And I said, I'm not 24-hour fitness. Don't pay me and then don't come work out. I want you to test because you see value in it. So anyway, so he finally tested, and in the meantime, before his test came back, he got rid of some strains. I didn't know this, and sure enough, one of them was 1-to-1, not 16-to-1 though. It was 1-to-1 CBD, and this was again 2010. And he goes, and I go, I bet you didn't get people high. It's not a high yielder, and it's ugly. Yep. Oh, that's CBD. So, back in the day, can you imagine the strains people got rid of? And it's sad because we've been growing for decades for high THC, now. So that's another reason why you should test to see what kind of cannabinoids you have. What if you had a plant that had perfect ratio of cannabinoids? You would treat that differently than all other plants, and you would probably make a concentrate out of it. There's just, I don't know. I just get so excited because I told you this, Steve. If I could go back and do it all over again, what would I do?
You'd be selling houses.
Been there, done that.
No, I agree. You would be much more into the manufacturing of products and in the concentrate area.
Formulating. Yes.
Yep.
It's just so cool to me. I love it. But I love my science. I love science, and I love my company, and I want to thank all my employees and my business partner. I have the best business partner on the planet, and we're like a team to be beat. I tell you what. And we all love science, and we all appreciate it. Let us take a break, Steve, and then I'll let you talk.
Extraction Tech Solutions. Not only is it safe, but it offers one of the only ETL certified essential oil extraction systems on the market. Our equipment meets or exceeds all of the North American safety standards. Customer relationships are important to us, so after the sale, it doesn't stop for us. We are reliable and therefore when our customer needs us. We offer pre- and post-sales training, method development, services, and repairs. Extraction Tech, safe and reliable because it matters. Contact us at www.extractiontech.com. or 720-515-9254. Ideal 420 soil is preloaded to perfection with all your nutrient, microbial, and biostimulant needs. It's compatible with all strains and is good for a 22-week grow cycle from seed to harvest. This product is 100% organic and gives your marijuana that awesome aroma and smooth taste we all desire. Ideal 420 Technologies is well grounded in soil chemistry, soil physics, and microbial biology, making them the most advanced soil company in the marijuana industry. They do the science so growers can focus on what truly matters, the plants themselves. No more mixing and feeding of expensive nutrient lines, supplements, and foliar sprays. Not to mention, the company is prideful in being the most consistent soil product that has yet to hit the market. Due to the results when using Ideal 420 soil, they are quickly changing the standard for cannabis cultivation. To order the product, go to ideal420soil.com. Use promo code INTHELAB for an additional 20% off.
I'm Gary Johnson, and you're listening to iCannabis Radio, and I want to say, talk it up, Colorado.
Steve, you there?
I'm here.
All right. So, okay, here's what I want. I want to ask you this. If everybody you knew in Arizona, all your clients and all the clients, possible clients in Arizona and across the country, if you could say anything to them, what would it be?
You know, I would say that I would have to tell people, first off, test your meds. And second, I would ask people to, go check your lab out. You know, all of the laboratories will let you look at what they do. They won't show you how to do it, but they will show you their laboratory, and they will, learn what is a good laboratory and what is a joke, because there's a lot of jokes out there. And if you don't ask to look at the facility, you don't know that they're not doing it in their garage or their children's bedroom or where they are. You need to make sure that the products that you're selling are going to patients. We know that. But you need to make sure that the laboratory that is testing them has your best interest at heart, not just putting out big numbers so they can get a paycheck daily.
Awesome. What about, how do you feel about TLC or thin layer chromatography?
You know what? That stuff's great if we were living in the 1860s. That stuff really, really did a good job back then. But we have moved from a color-coded system to the digital world. And so for most people in today's society, the digital world is better. And it's always going to show much better results and much more accurate results. The problem with TLC is it's just a color code. And if one of your patients or your employee is doing TLC and they might be colorblind, well, sorry. These are all very big factors in deciding, giving you the final number of what is the true number of your medicine. So if you're relying on somebody's colorblindness to give you the accuracy of your medicine, you've got some problems. These instruments test to parts per billions, and the federal government trusts them to test our drinking water, our soil, the air that we breathe. I think you can trust them to test the medicine that you're putting in your body. In fact, that's what all the this is the insane instrumentation that the pharmaceutical companies are using that we use. Yep. So,
Plus,
TLC had its time.
Somebody needs to have a degree, at least a degree in chemistry. And it can't be any science, because this is strict chemistry. This is high-level chemistry. Now, microbiologicals and stuff is not such a high skill set for a microbiologist that, a chemist can run microbiological plates and stuff. But really, you need a chemist who knows the background with chemistry, that's had experience and everything like that. And in fact, I think Colorado is actually a PhD or a master's plus so much experience, or a bachelor plus so much experience. And Heather, our chemist, has a master's in chemistry and about 10 or 15 years experience. Now, Brenda, she has how much experience? I mean, she's had an complete career in environmental, right?
Yes, she's got 13 years of environmental chemistry, testing all of the water, air, soil, gasoline for the state on federal levels. And so I have found a great partner in her because of the fact that those instruments have got to be calibrated to the nth degree. And she's done it so long that she has taken all of those same quality standards of calibration and moved them directly into our laboratory, so that I know confidently that our instruments are calibrated to the nth degree. In fact, we over-calibrate in a lot of cases. We run more calibrations than most people do. But that's okay. I know that our instrumentation is being run correctly, and its precision accuracy is what we're looking for, and that's what you're getting when you come to AZ Med Testing.
Great. Well, I'm glad to have you on. I know I had Jeff from the workshop on, and I plan on having Don Land, brilliant man who works for a company I won't mention on my show. Just kidding. He works for Steep Hill. But Don Land is very, very smart and great. And, he's such a sharer. We love that about him. I mean, of course, he doesn't share super secrets, but he's very nice and he'll explain things to you, don't you think? Really great guy.
Absolutely. 2 years ago when I met Don Land, I met him at a Patients Out of Time conference in Tucson, and we have stayed in contact and communication, much like I have with you, Jennifer, over the last 2 years, continually talking. And he's become a valuable asset to me for just bouncing things off of, what do you think of this? How do I deal with this? What do I deal with that? And we've both relied on each other on a lot of things. It's been pretty neat to build a relationship with people in this industry like yourself that we can rely on each other. I believe that collaboration between all of the laboratories is the only way that we're going to be able to help move this medicine forward and give it legitimacy with what we're doing.
I believe that too. I really do. And, science is a collaboration, all through school, and just that it's a collaboration. It's just so weird to be stranded out on an island where no one wants to talk to you. People in science like to brag. They like to write papers and, do exciting stuff and get other scientists to talk to them and, be excited for them. And it's just so strange that it's just so tight to the chest. But you know what? There's a lot of brilliant scientists out there. So if any of us in any of our labs think that we have the best scientist, oh my God, those are my shirts. Don't even steal them. I have the best scientist. Can Labs.
I have the best scientist.
Nice. Yep. It was born here. No one makes T-shirts because it's mine.
That's right. I have the best grower. You've got the best scientist.
That is, we'll have to share that. But anyway, so what if we only have a couple minutes left, Steve? But if anybody in Arizona also wants to talk to somebody else besides you and Brenda, that you're more than welcome to let them talk to Heather, just so they have another person that's talking to them. I know I wish I had that when, I was a couple of years ago. I know that Brenda was always so awesome talking to whoever was working at Can Labs then, but it's tough. And it's tough for you and me because we own the company, but we're not the scientists and we don't know. And you really have to rely on, at least your partner was a scientist. I mean, you lucked out. I didn't. And that really hurt Can Labs, is putting, hoping that they do it all right all the time. And, so anyway, but how can people get a hold of you? You are testing in Arizona. What's the future? Do you like to speak at events?
The future is bright here in Arizona because we have my son. But we have some big things happening for us in January, and it's going to be very exciting. Some of the new systems that we're putting into place. We have terpenes coming online very soon.
Great.
Which is going to be great for us. We know that that's something that is missing here in the state, and we definitely need to continue to advance the science. Currently, we test for 7 cannabinoids, pesticides, and residual solvents. So we're moving everything forward. We do a lot of edible testing, and we have a great group of instruments that are the latest instrumentation, so we're able to continue to have the most recent, most the best updates of technology. We're not using 10, 15-year-old instrumentation, and it's not in the back of our trunk. So those are all great things that having AZ Med testing here in Arizona is able to do for patients. We spend a lot of time driving, so we do go out and collect a lot of the samples ourselves. We're doing about 1,000 miles a week currently,
They are
all over the
lucky.
state, making sure that people are getting their meds tested.
Right. And they're lucky that
Anybody-
you pick up.
Yeah. So anybody that needs to get a hold of us can get a hold of me at steve@azmedtest.com. And you can visit our website at www.azmedtest.com and register. We'll send you out our pricing package and everything and how our protocols work.
And don't you guys have a free or a not paid internship coming up or something like that? Were you guys looking for one?
Yes, we're working with. We're looking at different universities around the valley of Arizona and Phoenix to get some scientists in here to help them understand this medicine a little bit more. We are working with the Barrows Neurological Institute, and we have a PhD over there that is working with mice. And
Cool.
it's a pretty exciting opportunity that we have going on with them. They are affiliated with ASU, and the program that we are developing right now is pretty cool.
Wow. That's so exciting. And you know what's great about universities is they always want to be on the cutting edge. And, this is the fastest growing science right now. And I truly believe that within years, they'll have a cannabis science degree. How cool would that be?
I believe so.
And I would love to mentor and teach classes. I would love to do that. But anyway, I'm rambling on. Steve, it's been a pleasure. I'm sorry I'm going to miss you when I come out to see my dad. But hopefully I'll get to see Brenda and revisit the lab and everything. But thanks so much. And we'll have to have you on after the first of the year and see first quarter and see what's going on.
Sounds great, Jennifer. Thank you for the call.
All right, Steve. Thanks so much.
Take care.
All right. So that's 403, and you've been listening to In the Lab with Jennifer. Please visit us next week, and we'll have Alan Barockstein to talk about stocks.